this actually came in right before we got on camera, before we got into the show. ScreenRant.com says that Marvel Studios only pays comic creators $5,000 for using their stories. Marvel has released 24 films in the MCU, with a 25th, premiering next month, with Shang-Chi and The Legend of Ten Rings hitting theaters. Marvel will release 2 more movies this year, The Eternals and the highly anticipated Tom Holland-led Spider-Man No Way Home, the latter in partnership with Sony. In 2022, they got 5 more, including Doctor Strange and the Black Panther sequel. B. Walt, you're a writer. $5,000 for some shit motherfuckers are making billions on?
So hold on, let's rewind this, because I'm a Marvel fan. So let's rewind this for some context. So they're employing people to basically write the framework of all the stories we've been seeing, and only paying them $5,000 to do it.
No, so the best way I can put it is, do you know who Ed Brubaker is?
Yeah.
Okay, created Winter Soldier, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got $5,000 for creating that character. That guy.
But
and a ticket to see the movie.
But
that's what they gave.
The creator of Winter Soldier, Ed Brubaker, is still allowed to create the comic books. And Marvel, I'm confused. The creator of Winter Soldier first appeared in the comics.
Right, exactly.
So he can still do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're not affecting his original money in that respect, right? The movie entity, Marvel is a totally different beast from the Ed Brubaker who created the comics and the shit that comes out, and it's separate, right? Like,
it is separate. But
okay,
they're using his stories and his character to make this movie, or movies in his case, and he's getting 5 racks for it.
But they not taking money out of his pocket for the shit that he's already doing, so he can continue to make Winter Soldier comics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just need to get that out of the way. That's fine. Hearing that Marvel only pays $5,000, it does not surprise me, knowing what I know about the way the entertainment game works. It doesn't surprise me. But somebody like Ed B, who's been around for a minute to make the Winter Soldier, being okay with only making 5 stacks? Like, did he have a choice in the matter? Did they come to him like, we want to use Winter Soldier? And he was like, nah, nigga, nah. And they was like, man, we about to push you out and do this shit anyway. Like, was it like a kind of a hostile takeover kind of thing? Was like, we're going to do this shit anyway. Here's your 5 stacks. Get the fuck out of the way. Or...
Well, I mean, you brought a bit more perspective for me to think about in terms of like what his regular routine is with Marvel in terms of the comics. But as someone that's created some shit and talked to some big wigs about making it, like, nigga, they offered me more than 5,000 and I said no, because I knew how much they was gonna make off of that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
but
it's almost like they gave him 5 racks on some, like, this is just for thanks for being you type money. Well, like, because Marvel already owned the shit. Disney already owned both the comic and the theater, the film side of things.
So this brings me to another. I mean, this puts another question in my head. Does this happen across the board? So, like, say a movie is made and it's based off a novel, the novelist is usually brought on at some level to be like an executive producer or like a consultant or some,
Yep.
is this a similar setup in that respect? So Crazy Rich Asians, which made billions of dollars, but it's based off of, I think his name is Kevin Kwan. He wrote the stories. He's wrote a series of stories, and he's a rich dude now because of the popularity of this series of stories he created. Um, but he's making a very small. Is that how it works? He's making a very small fraction of that billions of dollars that the Crazy Rich Asians made in the movies. Is that how it works?
I can't speak for that. That I don't know because that's not Marvel. But what it sounds like from reading this article, Marvel, because they own both the production side and film and the comic itself, they getting crackhead prices to make these fucking major fucking blockbuster summer hit movies. And they not giving a fuck about the people that's been doing, creating, writing, and putting these stories and these characters together for fucking years. Ed Brubaker is a fucking G. He's one of the best writers in comics ever. The author he's the author to Books of Doom, which is considered canon in terms of Doctor Doom's origin story. That motherfucker did Westworld. That's his shit. The fact that he's only getting 5 racks for some shit they making billions off of is fucking nuts to me. No royalties, no.
I would need to know what the contract was. I would need to know why if it was a matter of him okaying this or if it was a matter of them moving him out.
I don't think he has a say so. They own both sides. What can he say? What can he really say?
There's always an argument that if you're working for this company and you create something with the company's resources, then the company has ownership over it. This is one of those arguments that, regardless of what field you're in, the companies do that. I mean, you've seen lawsuits about this kind of shit. You've seen legal activity about this kind of stuff across the board. So, with that being said, I don't know how I feel about that. I just know how the entertainment game works as a whole, right? And when you're not talking about the OGs, right? I knew a girl, you knew her too. She used to write for a very prominent comic now. He's prominent now. The nigga's doing a bunch of shit. You know who I'm talking about. She used to write his shit for him. He had a contract.
That one.
Yeah, he had a contract with a major TV studio because he was working on one of those talk shows. But she was writing his material for him. And she was sleeping in her car. You feel what I'm saying? So the way we know how the entertainment game works. Motherfuckers at the top have all of that shit, and everybody else is hoping to kind of sort of get there. But under when you're talking about OG Ed B and and the Winter Soldier, he's been in the game for a minute, so he ain't hurting. I mean, he's probably fine. But the entertainment game as a whole, if you're talking comedy, you're talking music, there's a lot of people who are being underpaid per se for the opportunity to latch on to something that's going to hopefully give them a huge payday later down the line. You know what I'm saying? But that's how the entertainment game works, from what I know, from what I've seen. So, and Ed B the OG, he's been in it for a minute, right? So he's straight. Let's look up how much he's worth right now.
Nah, bro, 5 racks for the Winter Soldier story?
Nigga, I'm not saying it's okay, but that's how the entertainment game works.
That's not even like there's fuck money and there's like I'm gonna put my dick in your mouth money. That's not even put your dick in my mouth money. Like that's really a crackhead price, yo. Like when I created what I created before me and you started collaborating, right? They offered us more than that for what we put together. Like, and I was a new booty. They didn't want me on creative, right? Because they, even though I'd already put the entire episode together, like from front to back, they didn't want me on creative. They still offered me more money than that because I created the shit. So for the fact that like niggas like Jordan making Jordan shoes for like $18 and selling them shits for like $250, nigga. That's pretty much the percentage. And this ain't a good look to me in terms of Disney and what they doing, especially coming off the fact of what we just talked about last week with the Scarlett Johansson situation about how they handling her. Like they fucking on her money because they decided to do some new shit with her project that's already been delayed 2 years. Like it is the industry. It is the industry to try to fuck you. That is industry shit. But is it? I think the fact that they're giving Ed Brubaker, someone of that caliber, someone that's got his profile, his credit, his resume, $5,000 is an absolute insult. Even more so than the Scarlet Witch shit. I mean, not Scarlet Witch, Scarlett Johansson shit. Um, yeah, that's insane to me. That's just fucking insane.
Like I said, I don't pretend to know what goes on in those rooms when they're drafting these contracts and they're talking to these people. But when the entity has the control, the entity is always going to do things that they consider to be in the best interest for the entity. It doesn't. It's not saying that it's right, but it doesn't surprise me.
No, and it's I'm not surprised, but to say it's an insult or anything less than that, like, bro, I know that's one of your favorite characters. Like, I know that. Like, that's like one of your favorite sound effects. Right. And that's it's like he's one of the only reasons why I'm even thinking about why I would want to see a second season of Fat Tweets. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to me. The fact that Disney is able to get away with that, it's kind of scary actually that they can do that to Ed Brubaker. Like, I'll be honest with you.
Again,
it's pretty
like
fucking
I said,
crazy.
well, I mean, look at fucking Stan Lee, who's basically considered the father of modern mythology, wasn't worth that much. He didn't have that much money at the end of his life, right?
He didn't have as much as you think he would. Yeah,
he didn't have as much as you think he would in comparison to how much Marvel was banking on. But the difference is, Stan also didn't have a medium to make them movies. When they came in and they started making the movies and shit, they the ones that had all, like, it's the same thing. Like we talked about that. Like I think Netflix does the same shit where somebody will create something, they'll buy it from them for a very small amount of money in comparison to what they're going to make. That's the way the industry works. The industry, I mean, we can't romanticize the shit. The shit is a business, right? And the industry is a fucking machine. So when you create something, that's a cog in the machine to push it forward. Yeah, they're gonna make hundreds of millions of dollars off your shit. You're gonna make 50K. That's how it works. And the working writers and the working creators, the ones who stay connected to that machine, it behooves them to continue to be creative and to continue to create and make more and make more and make more, because that's how they make their bread. But the argument is that the machine gonna move without you. Remember, we have a mutual friend who was in the game for a minute, and you said to me, I don't know why the fuck this nigga got out of this shit just to get this job. He was doing this shit on his own, and then he associated himself with da-da-da-da, and now it's a job, and he's making a fraction of what he could make. But the thing is, when you're talking big bucks, when you're talking about somebody creating something so unique that a Marvel or a Disney or a Sony or whatever has to give them a shit ton of money, that shit ton of money they get is still a fraction of what these motherfuckers gonna make after they get it. It's still a fraction. And the reason why is because they have all the fucking leverage, right? Look at the comedy game. Look at the comedy game. We know this shit very well. These comedians, some of these motherfuckers that we work with are literally geniuses when it comes to the comedy shit. Geniuses! But they will go on stage, take their $25, which
And
probably
it is
don't,
$25. It
which
literally
don't
is $25.
cover, look, which don't even cover gas, right? But they doing that in hopes to get pulled into that world and elevate into that world, so they are making the millions. So they are mentioned in the same breath with the Kevin Hart. Nobody knows if it's actually going to happen. They want it to happen. They hope it happens, which is why they're taking $25 to come out there and pour their heart and soul out on stage. They hoping that they get to a certain level where they making millions. But even Kevin Hart is worth what now? Like 100 million? It was just ballpark figure. How
Close
much
to
he
$1
worth?
billion, I would anticipate, at least.
He pushing up there. He pushing up there. I don't know. I could probably look it up, but I don't feel like it. He's.
I would say it without it's got to be half a bill.
I'm gonna
Like
look
half
it
a
up now.
billion.
I'm gonna look it up now just because I'm curious. But my point is, regardless of how much Kevin Hart is worth personally, the amount of money that he has made for everybody else kills that shit. Kevin Hart's net worth was estimated to be $185 million as of this year. 185 million. He's been in movies that have eclipsed that easily. Easily. And he's been doing it for over a decade. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it works. It's the machine. You got to figure out how to get in there and make your bread from the machine. Or you try to go your own route, you create something that's truly unique, and ultimately the machine buys that shit out anyway. I think the one thing in our lifetime that I can remember that was truly, truly, truly unique, and then it actually became the machine itself, was when Zuckerberg created Facebook. You know what I'm saying? We had the MySpaces and all that kind of stuff, and we had the social media kind of sort of starting at that point. But when he created the monster in Facebook, it changed the fucking game. That's the only thing that I can actually remember in our lifetime that had that kind of impact, to where now you not having Facebook is considered weird. Like, what, you ain't on Facebook? You know. But what did Facebook do? They started gobbling up every other thing that would be considered competition and putting it back out there, but they own it now. That's what the machine does. That's the only time that I can remember, and like I said, in our lifetime, where someone did that. And I mean, I'm sure there's got to be some other. I mean, you know, the creation of Apple, they did it. You know, that kind of stuff. But I can't remember where somebody in our lifetime really created their own lane, and then, you know, they became this, you know, what I'm saying? There's Marvel, there's Sony, then there's eclectic events. You know what I'm saying? You get what I mean? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm trying to think of a time where that actually happened. Not to say that it can't, but it's like when you prove that you can make a shit ton of money, these big boys is gonna try to buy you out. That's what they're gonna do. And most people are gonna be like, okay, because that's a lot more money than I thought I was gonna see. It's just how the game works.
I like how you threw eclectic events in there. Yeah, man. It's this is shocking. I can't lie. I just like how many movies has the Winter Soldier been in, man? Like, how many episodes and series has he done? Like, and the thing is, he ain't even the most popular, but he kind of is. He's definitely not at the bottom. So for the fact that
Winter Soldier is Lancer Supreme, right? He is the Lancer to lance all Lancers.
he is definitely top 3 Lancer, especially in the MCU for sure.
Right.
So yeah, man. I just I remember when someone approached Ed Brubaker, about this and he was kind of reluctant to say anything. Now I know why. Because I'd be pissed too if someone gave me $5,000 and a ticket to see my guy in a movie that I created because it's a story I wrote 20 fucking years ago.
But like I said, the argument can be made that yeah, he was popular. He was niche popular in the sense that comic book heads was fucking with Winter Soldier, but Ed Brubaker did not have the tools around him to be the mold to push, Winter Soldier into the popularity that he now has. Therefore, because Marvel / Disney / whoever did that, that's the argument. Here's your 5 stacks for creating it. We're gonna make 500 billion for using it.
Five racks and a ticket, my nigga, to the theater. Like the ticket, like that's the like pull out and blow it on her back type shit. I don't care what anybody says. That's the insult. The ticket, nigga, not 2. You gonna give me 1 ticket to my shit? Oh, you's a cold motherfucker for that.
That's why I was asking you if you had any understanding. Like, I mean, because you see movies that come out all the time that are based off of novels or based off of video games, based off of that kind of shit, and all of those things require writers and
you at least getting 5 digits for that though. It's upwards between 10 and 30,000 for those. That's what I mean. Like they can't get, like, there's certain rules, like if they can't give you nothing less than that, right? Like it's just they have to follow certain guidelines. But since the fact that Marvel's in this unique situation where they own the comic book company and they own the production company for the films, everything is technically in-house, so they can make up their own rules and regulations about how much they want to give somebody.
That's exactly it. Anybody that works for a corporation, they make their 90K, 100K, 125K a year doing whatever it is they do, but the work that they do helps that corporation secure millions on a yearly basis.
Shit's insane.
So basically what it is he got a bonus. He basically got a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a bonus and a ticket to the show. I know, homie. Look, I've had homies that work on the corporate side. They get their $6,000 bonuses every year, and they get tickets to see the Dodgers play. It's kind of the same thing.
It is.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, bro. I'm good. I can't. That ain't me. I'll figure out the other side. But
well, I mean, I since we started this conversation, I'm thinking about any field where that doesn't happen at some level. Music, it happens like when you're a new artist and you come out and you want to be this unique person. You basically sell your soul to whoever signs you. Come out with some shit that's gonna pop, and then along down the line, they're like, okay, now we could try something a little bit different. You sound like Drake and Future right now. We're going to milk all the money we can out of that bullshit. And then if you're still around, yeah, go ahead and try some experimental shit. But it's a business. It's all about making money. And you just a commodity. That's what it is. So, again, like, I agree with you. I don't think the shit is fair per se, but is anything fair?
No,
is anything fair?
I don't expect them to say, "Hey, you're a partner in this. You're going to get 40% of the new pie," right? But nigga, that amount of money is disrespectful. And then to give me a ticket to the theater is insult to injury. Like, you gonna give me a ticket, my nigga? I can't even. How does they even present that and think it's cool? Like, what fucking green soldier you sending to his desk to say I gotta hand him this shit? Like, that shit's insane to me, bro. Like, that part. But I mean, you're not wrong. It happens across industries and particularly with creative, and that's just how corporate shit goes. But it doesn't really change how I feel. But we could go on and on about this.
It shouldn't change how you feel.
It's just yeah, because there's no, like, if he don't bring the ingredients, there ain't no food to cook. You know what I mean? And if he's the only one that can bring those ingredients, like, how does he not? This nigga can't eat? Really?
I mean,
But
you trying to use the food, you trying to use a food analogy and shit. The best cook to be the motherfuckers in the back,
the
undocumented
niggas,
motherfuckers in the back, and they don't walk away with all the money. Lay stuck up French restaurant may make hundreds of thousands of dollars a week. They may even have Gordon Ramsay come on and act like, you know, I'm a part of this shit. But the niggas that do the actual cooking ain't getting nothing. They getting their fucking minimum wage, and they got to wear checkered pants and black shirts and come out of there working 14-hour days, and they ain't making no bread. That's how it works. It's not right, but that's how it works.
oh boy.
Guess how I know they wear checkered pants and a black shirt? Because when the nigga was in college, I had to do that shit. But I bet you I was stealing sandwiches out of that motherfucking refrigerator too.
I bet you they was letting you steal them sandwiches.
Nigga, look, we had us a little gang back there. Hey, look out, G, look out. I ain't never seen no 19-year-old college niggas eating fucking French cuisine. That was us. For my $7.50 an hour.
And that is the end of our show, episode 27.